Hello and welcome. Xolo here with another V-Rising video, and today I'll be giving you guys a tour of my library. It's located in the northeastern part of the Cursed Forest and features 5 towers of knowledge, several gardens, and a horse stable. If by the end of the video you like what you see, there will be a link to a free download of this castle over on my Ko-Fi for anyone interested. Alright, now let's get started. I just want to start off by saying that one of the reasons why I chose this plot is because it has a nice little natural kind of bridge here going on. It's not super natural looking, but the fact that there's a bridge here at all and it just separates it from the rest of the landmass I thought was cool. And it kind of gives like a big view of the entrance. And for our entrance here, I used a bunch of cool wisteria. I went with a more autumn theme since we're in the Cursed Forest, and I thought it was kind of a little bit more appropriate. And also, when I first started building this castle, it was around fall, so this castle actually took a considerable amount of time to build. Several streams actually, and if you haven't seen those streams, those are also on the channel for you to go and check out. We also have some horse stables here in the front. I wanted to make sure to have at least 4 spots for horses so that if any visitors came or were brave enough to come to this library in the first place, they had a place to park their horses so they can just get some feed. I used a lot of sunflowers and stuff in this particular area because I wanted the yellow from the sunflowers to kind of look nice here, and I didn't think that the plague briars made any sense, especially because, you know, we're not in like the Gloomrotty area, so I wanted to keep things looking nice and warm and very autumn. And of course we kind of continued that here, and we do have like a little chair here, so if you arrive early and you have someone that you're waiting on, you can definitely sit there and wait before heading in. Once you enter the library entrance, this is the main lobby. The lobby has a lot of things going on here. So we're going to start off along the wall here at first. So this is just a nice little lounge area if you want to sit down and read a good book, or if you are just kind of waiting around for some reason, or maybe you just want to relax and, you know, just have some silence to yourself. That is definitely a great option. Of course, we have the reception desk here, or I guess you could say the front desk where the librarian would sit here and judge you if you're too loud. And of course, we have our turn-in area. So this is the turn-in window for like any books that you're ready to return. And then there would be someone sitting here to receive your book. And of course we have a nice little staircase leading up the tower. I'm actually, for every tower, I'm gonna kind of work my way up on all of them. So we're just gonna kind of go through that pattern. We also have some nice little, you know, shrubbery here. Try to use a little bit of plant life and stuff to kind of keep things looking interesting. Of course we have a nice little side table here. I really like that we have things we can put on these little side tables now. I feel like it just kind of gives it a little bit of extra life. And in this hallway we have a couple of benches just for anyone who just wants to sit around and do nothing, I guess. These little storage containers here are for books that need to be put back, or for books that are reserved. So if you check in and say, hey, I reserved a book for pickup, okay. And then the person would come over here, grab the book, and hand it to you. And this is the kind of stuff that I was kind of thinking of. I'm kind of thinking this, maybe you could say from like a roleplay perspective even. I don't roleplay myself, but I kind of wonder if that's what people do with my castles when they download them sometimes. And it's kind of amazing really, because I go through these castles and I'm just like, yeah, I'm having a good old time decorating, and then I see that like 80 people downloaded like a single castle, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here, you know? But yeah, so apparently that's a real thing. One of my castles got like, I think 80 downloads, and I was just like, what are you guys using it for? So if you're one of those people who like to download my castle, please tell me what you're using it for. I'm really curious. I think it'd be pretty cool to find out. And of course, I also have a nice little area up here right above the main lobby area. This is basically our printing area. So if you have to print something out real quick, or if you have, I don't know, maybe you're writing a really good novel or something and you're ready to print your 365th page, then you have the option to do so. And over here we have kind of like the quiet room, so if you're writing or working on something that's going to take a lot of time and you're going to be chilling in the library for a while, this is the place you want to be. You want to be in this room. I went with a lot of really cool, I think some interesting color combinations here for this particular room. I tried to keep things with a white and purple feel throughout the entire floor. You know, so that things will kind of stay the same thematically, but this room was a little different because I also used a lot of carpets, well, rugs on top of carpet, which is a little excessive in some ways, but in other ways it kind of makes the room feel warmer, I think. And I used a combination of white and purple lighting just so we have a little bit of visual variety here, and it wasn't too purple because I felt like, you know, using too much purple in one area would just kind of make the room glow like a purple hue for like no reason. So I kind of want a little bit of a kind of an alternating pattern there. And then of course here we have a nice little sitting waiting area, so if you're printing something out and you're waiting for the printer to finish the job, this is a nice place to sit down, read a book, or review whatever it is that you're doing. And of course we have a little bit of a research desk over here, so that if you have some stuff you got to look up, or you're not really sure on something and you want to make a last minute change, this is a great spot to go to. And of course we have our paper shredder. I can't forget the paper shredder now. And then of course on the third floor we have a very different kind of floor here. This one is more of a lounge, more of a collaborative lounge. So if you want to read a good book in front of the fireplace, maybe take a break, and let's say you have like maybe a group of people who need to go into the conference room, this right here is a nice little conference room. You can rent this out. So let's say you go to the library, you're like, hey, I need to rent out a conference room for X number of people or whatever for this much time. All right, cool. It's upstairs. And then of course it's on the third floor right here. I really like the way that this particular room turned out. I feel like it has a nice, almost a boardroom feel. You know, it feels like it has like a very nice professional like kind of feeling to it, where it's like, you definitely feel like you can have some collaborative projects kind of come to life in here. And you know, I tried to make it, you know, pretty much as believable as possible, trying to make a nice little conference room. And then of course, okay, we're done with the conference, let's take a break, and then boom, you have a lounge right here, perfect for any kind of relaxation or things that need to happen here. So yeah, I was kind of thinking of all these different things and had all these different things kind of in mind while I was putting that together. We're gonna head downstairs though. So let's head over this way next. So this little path here, super chill. We have a nice little garden area here. So it's basically a nice relaxing kind of outdoor area to sit down and read a book in the moonlight if you so wish. Of course we have our nice little cypress trees. We have a lot of growth on the walls here. Lots of vines and stuff. I wanted to kind of pull that in toward the back of the castle, just to kind of make sure that I'm kind of staying true to that cursed forest theme. And then of course, if we go through here, we have our nice little firelight seeds, and you know, they have bloomed and they look so nice, keep the path looking nice and warm. And then of course in here is just a nice little, kind of a nice lounge, I guess you could say, for reading. And we have a few different benches, and we have a bunch of shelves and stuff. So even though it does kind of cover the fireplace a little bit, I wanted something that had a nice book capacity, if that makes sense. And then of course there's some chairs here on the side to sit back and relax and read a good book. And of course a nice little outdoor area, or I guess you could say it's more like a smoking area. So if you have, you know, if you need a smoke break or something, I guess you could come out here and, you know, take your book with you, I guess. Just don't burn the pages, please. And then, of course, we have a nice little bit of music here. So if you need something a little bit more stimulating, maybe, you know, you're like me and having music in the background while you're working on stuff helps you, then this might be the tower for you. But yeah, this is mostly kind of like a study tower, and then of course we have a ton of different books here. all just kind of being available to anyone who needs to, well, do research and stuff like that. And of course, the third floor, we have a very similar thing kind of going on. This is one of the towers that has kind of a consistent color theme throughout the whole tower. I didn't do that for all of them, and you'll see that throughout this build. But yeah, this is mostly a study tower. You can see all the desks kind of side by side here with the different plants and shrubbery and stuff. And I tried to make the room just kind of look purposeful in the sense that I want to make sure that like anyone who looked at this room would be like, yeah, this is a place for people to get work done, essentially. So yeah, definitely really cool stuff here. And I really like the way that this tower turned out. We're gonna head back downstairs. All right, so for this next tower, we're gonna head out of here, and of course we see some more of these firelight seeds. We have, you know, some nice little shrubbery going on here as well. There's like a tiny kind of like seating area, outdoor seating area if you need some fresh air where you can breathe and relax. And of course there's a little hidden gate over here. This is more for staff, but I didn't want to use like a hard gate to close this, so I decided to kind of let it, you know, look fancy and leave it open. But this is basically our paper source, so anytime the library needs paper for anything, they can just chop down some trees, toss it in here, and then the process continues. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there was a spot for at least paper making in the library, because libraries tend to use a lot of paper and you don't want to be left without that, especially if you're trying to put together a good book. I also kind of added some nice little flowers here in these pots. I really wanted to have a nice kind of cozy small area, and I decided to use a oak tree just to kind of fill up the area a little bit more visually. And then of course we're gonna head over to this next tower. So this is the research lab. So I feel like a lot of times when people go to a library, they don't really realize the tools that are accessible to them. So like some libraries, for example, they'll rent out like laptops and computers and things like that for us in real life. But I can imagine that maybe for a world where vampires exist, a lab might make more sense for not just technology, but also just things like producing chemicals, working on experiments and stuff like that. But yeah, this first floor here on this research tower, or I guess you could call it the lab tower, has a lot of the basic materials and stuff that you might need. A few of these nice little alchemy tables, and of course we have some blood presses all throughout. We still have our theme with the library though, so we have to have some books down here, make sure they're accessible in case people need to read some research notes and things like that. You can share knowledge here. I can imagine that it would be really rare for any humans to actually show up to this place, and if they did, they're probably part of like the Transcendum or something. So they would probably be crazy enough to show up, maybe, and possibly still gain the knowledge, the forbidden secrets of the Cursed Forest, I guess. And of course we have a nice little seating area, so if there's like a little group project or something that people are working on together, like maybe they're trying to solve a problem, this would be a great place for people to sit down, grab a coffee, and just like, brainstorm essentially. And of course over here we also, kind of have a lot more of the same kind of stuff, with a few wine bottles just in case you need a little bit of blood or something for your experiments. So that's definitely something to look forward to. If we head up the stairs here, there is also a really nice kind of setup here where we have a bunch of books and we have a bunch of supplies. So if you need any kind of chemical potion, anything like that, that is going to be up here. And of course we have a few books to help you identify them if you're struggling. What I really like about this particular setup is the staircasing. Some of you might recognize this from my staircase video that I made a while back, but this is in fact pretty much the bridge. So You know, I kind of have like a nice staircase here, kind of right angle staircase, and then of course you have your little spot above. I added like a nice little portrait in there just to kind of keep that looking nice and neat. And then of course when you head upstairs though, there's a bunch of different changes here. So instead of using regular windows, I decided to go with the Gloomrot glass doors, and I really like the way that it makes this tower look, especially from the outside on that side of the particular side of the castle. And of course we have a bunch of experimental stuff here, so this is where you'd find, like, you know, the professional scientists are coming up here to do their work, essentially. Like, this is going to be the spot where if you know what you're doing, you're kind of in the final phases of whatever it is you're concocting, you would be up here working on it. So this is definitely a nice little science lab, which can be, of course, rented out, or it's kind of open somewhat to the public, of course at their own risk. Yeah, let's head down. All right, so for this next tower, we're gonna head over this way. And of course we have our nice little pathway here. We have some nice little trees, and we also have a garden area. So this particular garden is the largest garden in this castle. It has a nice little blood fountain in the center. It has a bunch of weeping willows. And I think one of my favorite parts about it is what it looks like from the outside. So when I turn the camera this way, you can see that this is indeed kind of like a rose bush, which I think is like really cool. And I really like the way that it kind of turned out, especially from the outside and how it looks. It just has a nice overall view here from that particular side. And I know that's kind of like something that is more of like an afterthought for most people, but I really like to have a castle that looks cool on the outside. And, you know, of course I had a nice little crystal kind of grow here naturally, and I'm not gonna take it down because I'm absolutely loving it. And of course we have our little pathway here, little benches, so if you're done studying or you want to just take a break or you need a place to talk without being too loud inside the library, this is basically your hangout spot. And of course we have another spot on the opposite side here. Now I know we skipped the tower, we're getting there, but the opposite side here we have kind of like an outdoor reading area. So if you want to look at a book with someone, or if you want to share a book with someone, this is a great spot to do it. You can also walk out here, do a little fishing if you'd like, you know, do some you know, low stress activities in this nice little tower area. And then of course we can head back into this tower. So this is the Botany tower. So any kind of plants, shrubbery, anything like that, this is the tower where you will get those supplies or look for them. If you need to study any kinds of plants for research and things like that, you would get them from this tower. And of course we have a few seating areas, which are kind of nice. You can sit here and eat a snack or something. So this isn't really too much of a quiet area, but it is relaxing. Before we go upstairs on this tower though, I do want to show you this little outdoor area that connects to the main lobby. So we have a nice little marble statue here with our nice little gargoyles just looking at us, screaming into the void. And then of course we also have this nice little seating area to just sit, chat, chill, and relax on a single tile, which for some reason really makes me happy. I was at first going to kind of add a second tile here, but I didn't want to get rid of these cute little mushrooms, so I decided to like leave it alone. And then of course we have a little bench here, so if you want to sit down, do some fishing, and then maybe, you know, kind of head inside, this is a nice little alternative, I guess, smoking area or social gathering area. Going back inside the Botany Tower though, we do have some more stuff to look at on the second floor. So the second floor kind of fits that theme of shrubbery, you know, a lot of really nice plant life in here, keeping things feeling really nice and earthy. We have a nice little centerpiece here with a fountain to kind of create a lot of just visual movement in a place that looks a little bit more stagnant, since you know, the shrubbery only moves so much. Even the stuff on the walls doesn't really move that much, so I just wanted to make sure that it was you know, something a little bit more visually or just nice to look at, more visually interesting. We have a few places here to sit down and just kind of rest and read a little book, maybe do a little bit of group reading. And of course we have some more of these shelves everywhere. Some of the shelves have some plants and stuff in them, so if you might need that, you definitely have it right there. And we have another centerpiece here, just like we do on the other side. And this right here, this area right above the staircase, is a nice little seating area, so you can do a little bit of group reading, or if you just want to read by yourself and you just need a quick place to sit down and take a look at the book you just picked up, then this is definitely a place to sit down and relax. And of course, we can definitely make our way up there. Now, this particular floor has several staircases leading up to it, so there's a second staircase right here that leads to this side, and then the other staircase on the other side is very similarly positioned, but in the opposite direction. So we go down, we still see the other side here. But I just wanted to point that out, that this particular floor is not exactly symmetrical, but I did want to kind of, you know, create lots of, you know, good opportunities to sit down and read, because again, this is a library. And we got to keep things nice and quiet. Now, this is probably one of my favorite parts of this entire library build. This is the rooftop garden of the Botany Tower. Every single kind of plant, tree, shrubbery, thing, or whatever that you can grow in this game is up here. So we have our different rows. We have the 3 different types of shrooms. We got cotton, sunflower seeds. We have morning lilies, sacred grapes, bleeding hearts, corrupted flowers, plague briars, blood roses, and snow flower and firelight seeds. We have, oh sorry, fire blossom seeds. I keep saying firelight for some reason, but it's fire blossom. We have everything here in a row. We also have every single kind of tree in the game, so those of you who maybe might be newer to the game and haven't seen all the different trees you can plant, there's quite a few options you have here. So this one here is, I'm pretty sure, Cursed Forest. This one is the Gloomrot tree, so I think this is the Gloomy Sapling, Cursed Sapling, Weeping Willow, White Cherry Blossom, Pine Tree, Regular Cherry Blossom, Apple Tree. A lot of people don't know you can plant these apple trees, but yeah, they're super cool. We also have our Autumn Aspen Tree, Regular Aspen, Oak, Regular Birch Tree, Autumn Birch, and I think the only one missing up here is the Cypress Tree, which I just now realized. But I wanted kind of an even side on this side and this side, and I just remembered, yeah, I didn't have enough space to add like an extra tree, but the only one missing here is the Cypress Tree, but we planted so many cypress trees already on the first floor that I didn't feel the need to add them here. But pretty much every single tree except for the Cypress Tree is up here. And every single plant you can, you know, put down is here, except for, well, I guess there is technically the thistle flower, but that's a discussion for another day and for another video. It's not something you can just regularly obtain in-game, so, you know, I'm not going to get into that here, but yeah, I didn't plant thistle, guys, so forgive me, I guess. And of course, we have some chairs out here for anyone who just wants to sit down in the moonlight. I know it's daytime now when we're doing this tour out here, but, you know, still. But yeah, this tower, super cool, super chill, and I really, really like it. We're gonna jump down. We're gonna head over to this tower now. So this is the Forbidden Knowledge Tower. So this is the tower where if you have some knowledge you want to get your hands on and you know you should not have your hands on it, this is the tower for you. We have our castle heart actually hidden here, so no one in the library should really be reaching this area, but you know, I guess we're gonna get there anyway. We also have a bunch of kind of books that are mostly hidden back here, so any kind of books that are not easily accessible usually are back here. I don't know why I never re-added the doors, but I'm sure I had a reason for it. Well, to be fair, this door is locked, so that's probably why. And then of course I also have a bunch of other bookcases here, just like you would expect. And you could tell no one's been upkeeping this tower with all the spider webs everywhere. And of course this area up here, still really nice. Lots of books and stuff to look at. Nice hallway of books here. And, you know, I try to keep things symmetrical with the 2 staircases heading upward like this. And then, of course, we have another bridge layout here with the staircase. I really like putting together the bridge. I feel like it just makes the castle looks so nice. And of course we have a nice research area here. If we head over to the 3rd floor, we have a kind of a continuation of this theme. The only difference though is that we added some extra little study desks, so if you really did find that coveted book that you really should not have had your hands on, you get to sit down and enjoy it. And of course we have a more traditional library layout up here. So this is the only part of the library that has a more traditional layout. And when I mean traditional layout, I mean that you have like lots and lots of shelves, like long shelves of books. I didn't really include that too much in this build. I wanted the library to kind of be a little bit more unique than that. I didn't want too much repetition, but I definitely wanted a space to kind of, you know, cram in as many books as possible. So I felt like this tower was really a good way of doing that. And of course we could head out. So if we go through the 3rd floor, all the bridges and stuff throughout this whole build is just kind of up above each other. So anything we saw on the 1st floor that had the fire blossoms, the 2nd floor would be the ghost shrooms, and then 3rd floor I had corrupted flowers. But they're basically all the same layout essentially. Like I said earlier, I did build this one on stream. So if you haven't seen it already, you can go check out my live streams and you'll see part 1 through 7 for this particular library build. So, what did you think of this castle? Let me know in the comments below. For those of you who don't know, my name is Xolo. I stream 3 times a week on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, and you can find me on various other social media. I have a ton of other V-Rising content on the channel, including guides, castle tours, and more, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. I'll also be leaving a link to a free download of this castle in the description below. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, Xolo out.